How can I even presume to know the will of God if I have a head full of my own ideas? How can I even hope to hear his voice when my mind is chattering and churning and regurgitating the same crap from the day before? When I'm ruminating and I'm caught in identification with the mind, how could I possibly know the direction to go, my higher power's will, if I am fully immersed in ego consciousness and identified with the thinking mind? It's impossible. I am awareness. You are awareness. God is awareness. And hearing God's voice comes from deep, deep awareness, a separation from ego consciousness. Our sense of self, our understanding of existence is no longer constrained to the confines of this limited form, this role that I am playing and that you are playing in this vast, infinite, cosmic theater that is the universe and the multiverse. How could I have a higher power or know the will of God or our concept of God if my mind is constantly churning and I don't know how to turn it off? What a miserable state of existence to be in, to be identified with the thinking mind. On the contrary, being born again is an awakening, a separation, a realization that I am not the character in the play. And if this isn't intellectual knowledge, this is internalizing the truth, cracking the shell of the egoic identity and realizing that I am a wave in the ocean. The wave has no independence apart from the ocean. And the wave rises up out of the vast embroideal ocean of consciousness and it returns to it. Understanding that the ocean supports me and that there's nowhere else to go, what suffering can I endure? And I want to share a little story with you because I have been intensely seeking my higher power's will. And what I found is, in this spiritual journey, is that there is negative forces in the higher realms. There are, whether you want to call them demons or evil beings or Satan, these entities exist. And their job is to deter us from our highest level of evolution. Now, from a mature perspective, these entities are understood as aspects of ourself. We must integrate this understanding that there is light and there is darkness, and there is polarity, and there are two sides of the same coin. And I am actually my greatest enemy, the ego. The ego is far more of a threat to me than anything else. But I wanted to share a little story, man, because I'm in long-term recovery. Drug and alcohol addiction killed me multiple times. I shouldn't be here. It's a miracle I'm here. My doctor will tell you. My parents waited by the phone for years to see how their bright, college-educated, award-winning journalist son, who had fallen from the heights of notoriety as this rising star, is waiting for me to die. They were waiting for the phone for years for me to die. Having survived that, every day is a gift. Every day I get to wake up, I get to serve my fellow humans, I get to help people who are also trying to recover from addiction. I get to be a responsible son, a responsible father, and life is a joy. It is a journey. So my greatest darkness has turned into my greatest asset. But I wanted to share this story with you because we are constantly being influenced by negative forces, the enemy, Satan, however you want to call it. This isn't a trivial laughing matter. This has happened to me multiple times in my recovery journey. And what happened today was coming into Columbus for this huge, I had to work in Columbus today. I had some work to take care of. And something told me to pull off and get gas right before I arrived at the office where I was meeting up with some colleagues. So I pulled off there, and when I pulled off, I got a text message from an acquaintance that I hadn't heard from in years. He was an associate in that former life of mine who I used to buy a specific type of drug from, an opiate. I get a text from him, and it didn't make any sense. So I ignored it, but I pulled into the gas station, right, to get gas because my gas gauge was on empty. And as soon as I step out of the car, I look down, and there was a drug, my drug of choice. So I'm not going to say on here, it doesn't matter. It's an opiate, a painkiller. And it was in the packaging. It's the same kind of painkiller I got from this former acquaintance of mine who had no way of knowing. It's just the synchronicity is mind-blowing. That I stepped out of the car, and it disturbed me. It sunk into my heart like, man, I was prescribed to this opiate, very powerful opiate for years. One tiny piece of it, I would have had euphoria out of this world. Man, it disturbed me. I'm like this. And also I could sense the presence of something non-physical. As I'm awakening here, I'm able to sense through my spiritual eye when something is around me, when something is trying to influence me, positive or negative, and I'm warned in advance. But we have to resist these impulses, these self-seeking impulses, because that's how it comes at me. It comes through a self-seeking impulse, and if I cave to it, man, I've fallen back on the path. And so this upward trajectory of climbing and of hiking upwards and onwards on the spiritual path has been filled with instances like this, where there are negative influences affecting us all the time. So to make a long story short, I did not use it. I took the medication. I was deeply disturbed, but without hesitation, I ripped it up, broke it up, threw it in the trash, went into work, and talked to them about it. And I'm here today, and I'm fine without it. This is what the journey is that, I didn't even hesitate, but I do know that there will be additional temptations and tests from the universe to see who is worthy. I'm getting out of my comfort zone here, sharing this stuff with you. And I'm striving, constantly praying without ceasing to give me the words to say, to share this, to reach the right people. The algorithm will find the right people who are going through this journey as well, who these words can uplift and encourage. Regardless of your religious beliefs or your spiritual background, we are all one, that we are on this journey. And man, you got to turn off the TV. You got to disconnect. We got to stop consuming what the powers that were on this earth would have us consume. And discipline, I've had to discipline myself. I'm out here in beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Greene County, Ohio, at Cedarville Falls, John Bryant State Park, where, as you can see, there's a huge canyon. There's a waterfall up the river. And I just come out here, the birds and the nature, and there are people hiking, and I just come out here just to speak candidly, blog, share a little bit about my journey, and try to find something in my journey that can help others. Is that we're all one, and that as I have elevated in consciousness, this feeling of lightheartedness, this feeling of joy and bliss, this firm assurance of divine protection enshrouds me. The fact that I'm even alive is a miracle. Not let alone that I'm in the shape of my life, I'm in the health of my life, and I'm helping others. It's a miracle. I'm at 44. My doctor was blown away by the labs, the blood work, and the physical and the checkup that I had done a few weeks ago after taking a long absence from the doctor, because what I realized is that if we don't take our health and wellness into our own hands, if we try to outsource that to the medical establishment, which is, run on profit, there is no financial incentive in holistic solutions and cures. Healthy people is not a profitable industry. So I have to take responsibility. I was able to reverse a severe amount of liver damage, lung damage, kidney damage. Hormones were shutting down. Health was in complete disarray. And I'm immaculate due to a power much greater than myself. I'm in a condition today that is truly a blessing, like that divine protection. With divine purpose comes divine protection. So if you feel a calling on your life, you need to know that you are protected, but also because of your assignment, You are under attack. You need to be aware of the enemy. The enemy operates through you. Egotism is the enemy, but there are outside spiritual forces which are known more maturely as aspects of ourselves, aspects of the one that know our weakness, that know when to attack us. And by attack, I mean tempt us. Or they're not going to override our free will. They operate through our weaknesses. You know, whether you look at the great wisdom traditions of the world, the great masters were tempted. Jesus was tempted by Satan. Buddha was tempted by a demon called Mara. It's all negative. It's the negative polarity. And only the worthy souls reach the final destination of evolution. You know, narrow is the path that leads to light. Wide are the gates. Wide is the path that leads to destruction. And so on this spiritual journey, I have been striving to walk the razor's edge, the ultimate reality of understanding that I am consciousness, you are consciousness, this entire wooded area is consciousness, and that we are on an evolutionary journey, that humanity is one tribe, that there are other civilizations in the cosmos that are watching us. They're in all of us. This is nothing to be feared. Yes, there are negative and positive extraterrestrials. I've encountered both. And to tell you that, you know, a lot of people think that their way, you know, we have paradigm blindness. A lot of people have developed paradigm blindness, that their way is the only way. And the evolved soul, we seek to understand all paths. We seek to find the common themes in all spiritual traditions and unify them to understand that we are all one, that life is a dream, and that if I discipline myself and I walk the narrow path, that I can live a very rich and rewarding life. And by that, not talking about any sort of material gains. What I'm talking about is the internal rewards. I found at the depths and at the end of my drug and alcohol addiction, I found that everything that I was seeking in this world started with drugs, alcohol, money, fame, success, material things. Everything that I was seeking, none of that filled that void that was within me. We all have this void, this God-shaped hole in us. And the only thing that's going to fill that hole is a relationship with God and a discipline. And then when I had my spiritual awakening, and the result of my higher power's understanding is that everything I was seeking in this world was already enfolded within me. We are all aspects of the one unified field of consciousness. The all-pervasive field that penetrates every atom in the universe is enfolded within us. And I thank you all for letting me share. It's been a wonderful day. I love you all. God bless.